We're ready whenever you are.
Go. It's all you.
All us?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, good afternoon, Mayor Harnick, City Council, and staff. We appreciate the opportunity. I wish we were here under better situations, and hopefully the surge will get past us in the near future. We're optimistic for that, although I feel like I've said that now about a half a dozen times over the last 2 years. So Colleen Pace is our Chief Sales and Marketing Officer, and she and I are going to kind of tag team this, and hopefully we'll keep you enthralled on the update of our organization and the overall tourism industry. We'll do our best not to bore you. Colleen is going to share her screen, so if she'll do that, she's kind of the driver, because I'm not a very good driver, so we'll let Colleen do
Okay,
that.
I'm going to do that now. Are you all seeing the screen?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Perfect. Cool.
Thank you.
So we can go right to the next session. I know we had a meeting, feels like it was a year ago, but it wasn't that long ago. But just a little reminder that as an organization, most CVBs, even though are focused on sales and marketing, but we recognized a long time ago that for our destination, there were lots of other issues and opportunities as an organization that we needed to address that was really driven by both the Board of Directors and the Joint Powers Authority Executive Committee. Certainly improving the visitor experiences continues to be a priority for us, focusing on key pillars such as health and wellness, arts and culture, outdoor adventure, culinary, and LGBTQ. Those were pillars that were identified by our consultants back in 2016 as areas that we currently kind of, I guess, can own authentically. Continue to promote regional collaboration, working together, the 9 cities and the community overall for tourism. The stronger we can work together, the better off we're going to be as we compete against places like San Diego, Phoenix, Scottsdale, Las Vegas, and so forth. Currently, visitor access remains one of our top priorities. Air service, rail service, the freeway system getting into the valley. And of course, we're going to continue to focus on sustainability. We're adding diversity, equity, and inclusion to our priorities to become more of a proactive and engaged organization on that front for our industry overall. And we can talk a little bit more about that hopefully in the future. We've retained a company called Travel Unity who's doing some research for us and some work with our organization right now. So we're in the beginning stages of that. And of course, you know, when you talk to our hotels and restaurants, everybody wants more business in the off season. And someday, hopefully, we'll get international visitation back because they stay a little bit longer and they spend a lot more money. And of course, the one that's probably the top topic for all of us is workforce development, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through. So really again, just a reminder that health, wellness, outdoor adventure, arts, and culture is something that we really focus on for the most part around all of our content, promoting the entire destination, using those attributes in our videos, in our blogs, in our imagery, really trying to position the destination as the go-to destination if you're looking for a trip, a wellness getaway, outdoor adventure getaway, arts and culture, and of course, highlighting the fact that we're a great culinary destination and a very inclusive destination. So everything that we do is really focused around research. I just wanted to give an update on some of the research projects that are currently either underway or about to get started. We're going to do a resident study. We've narrowed it down to 2 companies. We'll make a selection and hopefully get that started here in the next couple of weeks. We want to understand the sentiment from the residents about how they feel about tourism, and do they understand tourism, and does it positively impact the quality of life? And then we'll start maybe a little bit of an education or communication program around that to the residents of the entire valley. We've embarked on a cannabis economic impact study for the region. We want to understand how cannabis impacts the region more from a tourism perspective, not really necessarily from a retail or distribution, but what is the opportunity on the tourism side and how is it being impacted and what the opportunities are. We just finished a meeting study that gives us more insight about what the mindset of the meeting planners are for the destination. We're also working on 2 vacation rental economic impact studies. One is what is the impact by city and by region, and then the other one is what are the effects when vacation rentals are banned. So we want to understand what the impact is on the region and the overall industry as well. And then we also have a tourism workforce economic impact report. Typically, tourism sometimes gets a bad rap for being low-paying jobs, and we want to try to separate out and really start to highlight the differences between an hourly job and a management or an executive job as well. So, and that'll help us as we recruit graduates from local schools. So one of the areas that we continue to embark on is data. We love data. We've worked with Destination Analyst, who's a California-based company, for some insight. And then we're also working with another company as well. So first, this just gives us a little bit of insight into Palm Desert. This was for last year, for part of last year. So you can see where people were coming in from: Seattle, Denver, Dallas, New York, and St. Louis. Drive markets obviously are LA, San Diego. San Francisco, surprisingly, there's a little uptick there as a result of people maybe not feeling comfortable flying over that time period. And then length of stays. Clearly, people are staying a little bit longer on the fly markets. Drive markets usually are at 1.8, so that's up a little bit. So people are staying a little bit longer. And then the next slide shows we've also then engaged with Tourism Economics has another division called Symphony. And what they do is they bring together the cell phone data that we purchased from a company called Uber Media. They just changed their name. I can't remember what it is, Colleen. But they collect when somebody enables their location to be enabled and allows that data to be collected. It goes up to a company called Uber Media. They share it. We buy it from them, and we're giving it to Symphony or Tourism Economics to really go through and scrape the data to make sure the data that we get is accurate and beneficial for the destination, and trying to get rid of some of the stuff that may not be so accurate. And that's what they do on a full-time basis. So we're trying to create a dashboard within our system that we can then kind of break down and analyze the data, not only by the region, but for each city and points of interest. We have well over 200 points of interest that we've identified. El Paseo would be a point of interest, and we can analyze that data. So this gives you a little bit of some data information from May through November of the type of visitors that were coming into the city of Palm Desert by income, age groups, and race. And again, this isn't 100% effective because it is only on those cell phones that the location devices are turned on. And then on the next slide, it talks a little bit about points of interest. So this is for the city of Palm Desert and the top points of interest coming into the destination for people traveling from all over into this particular destination. So you can see El Paseo is at the top, 7.9%. The hotels obviously are there as well, downtown Palm Springs. So a lot around shopping and a lot around the resorts and so forth. So these are people that actually visited into Palm Desert and then maybe gone off to somewhere else as well. 60% of the individuals traveled within 200 miles. And then you can see the numbers as they grow to 200 to 500 miles is 16%, and then 20% 500 miles or plus. So again, people are not afraid to travel. And then the next slide shows, this is Greater Palm Springs. So we kind of looked at a visitor coming into Greater Palm Springs. This is October through November. And we wanted to know evening. So we can segment this by morning, afternoon, evening, half a day, all day. We can segment it by the cities, around the valley, whatever it may be. So we're just giving you some examples, and we'll provide this information once we have it all kind of out. This is still a beta for Thomas or anybody of our city partners that want to look for data about the visitors coming into their marketplace and their points of interest. So those visitors that came in, if you go back one quick, so you can see kind of downtown and uptown Palm Springs were the top two, and then El Paseo followed in the third spot on this for the data that we collected. So this is really going to give us some real good information about where people are going, what they're doing, how long they're staying there. And we really feel like this is like a good opportunity for us as an organization to share that data with our city partners, our hotel partners, and really create some nice strategic opportunities to help us as we market into the destination. The next slide is a recap of our dashboard from our website. We're able to track when people click on a Palm Desert listing or a Palm Desert blog and so forth. So you can see kind of the interaction that the visitor has on our site with the city of Palm Desert's attributes and where they're coming from. So that time frame of pretty much most of last year, Southern California obviously is the big drive into the market, but then you can see San Francisco, Chicago, and so forth, the top landing pages, so we know what stories they're clicking on, where they're coming in from Google. You can kind of see the wave of page views and session duration and sessions overall continue to go up and down, kind of aligns with the surge and things that are happening with the virus, and hopefully they'll start to bounce back up again as we get out of this situation. And then the next section, we're going to go into the marketing. I'm going to turn over to Colleen. She's going to talk a little bit about our marketing programs and kind of what we're doing for 2022.
Great. Thank you, Scott. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy New Year. I think you can still say that. Wanted to do a quick review of our multimedia marketing and media plan. We did review this in July when we last met, but wanted to do a quick overview of the programs that we are currently participating in. Here you can see we've identified
I have
them.
if I may interrupt, I see that Councilmember Quintanilla has her hand up. Would you rather save our questions to the end?
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that.
No, that's okay.
No.
What's best for you?
We're flexible, so
No,
go right
I'll take
ahead.
your question.
Thank you. I left it again. Whatever the preference was, I didn't want to interrupt the groove. Thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity. I just have a question. If we can go back to slide number 8.
8.
The beta dashboard, city of one, that one, perfect. Would it be possible to get some of this data and look at where the different age groups were going? Because I look at this in terms of, were the younger crowd, the under 18, just more likely to enable the consent versus who's actually attending, and then can we see where they're each going? Because that would be a very key piece to look at where we can engage youth and where we can engage people by specific demographic. I imagine so if you're able to break down the locations, but I just want to look at the methodology of who could be outliers based on who's most likely to enable. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll take a look. I think we can do it by age groups, but I'll have to double check that.
Thank you. Okay, so for the marketing for 2022, these are the campaigns and the programs that we're currently involved in, as well as what we're planning throughout the year. I have them by category, just because it's a little overwhelming when you look at it together. So we have our out of home and television. We also have our online travel agency programs, including Expedia, TripAdvisor, and TravelZoo. All of our digital campaigns, which is our targeting and retargeting based on people's behaviors. We also have our content program, so really pushing out a lot of great, unique content about all of the things our destination has to offer, and doing so within different demographics, including AARP and Dog Trekker, people with different interests, and providing them with the information that they're looking for based on those interests. We also have some seasonal campaigns, including Spa Finder, Weather Channel, and Pandora, as well as our social media channels. So for 2022, all of these programs combined, the plan is to spend $3.5 million. Just as a point of reference, in 2021, we spent $2.5 million. In addition, we did get $750,000 from Riverside County in grant money, which we also subsidized these programs with that funding as well, which allowed us to offer co-ops to our partners at a subsidized cost, which was something that was very much needed in 2021.
And I also, just real quick, I want to caveat on that as well, is that if you go back to 2012, 13, that kind of time frame, we only had a marketing budget of about $300,000-$400,000. It was primarily into the drive markets. The Tourism Business Improvement District, which is a 3% from the hotels and now 1% from vacation rentals, is really enabling us to market the destination both regionally and nationally. Before that, we had really no opportunity to tell the story of our destination to those travelers and really be this, I think, broad and targeted at the same time. So from a destination perspective, it's only about 5 years old that we've been doing this. So it's very, very new or very, very fresh as it relates to other destinations like Phoenix, Scottsdale, who's been doing it for 15, 20 years, Vegas, LA, and so forth. So just a little reminder on how that's funded and how new it is.
Great, thank you, Scott. And then just to recap our co-op programs, we just launched our 2022 co-op programs. And in 2021, we were able to run co-op programs, in particular, our legacy programs, including TV, billboard, and digital. There were plans to enhance our programs for the partners based on some feedback that we got directly from our partners. But in 2021, we weren't able to deploy them in a way that was effective. So we limited it to some really core co-op programs. And then this year, we've added those co-op programs back. So we have added digital and native advertising options, audio options, as well as more content on social media programs that we can offer in the form of co-op programs. So just to highlight our summer campaign, I think we previewed this right in the middle of the campaign when we were last together. Basically back to Scott's conversation about research. We used research before we came up with our campaign. We worked with our research partner, Destination Analyst, and we tested some taglines. Here are some of the results of the taglines that we tested. And this is how we formulated our check-in, chill out campaign for the summer. We asked how effective some images would be in terms of motivating people to travel to Greater Palm Springs. And those images were also used in our campaign as well. They made people feel relaxed and inspired. They liked the images, and most people responded to palm trees, pools, and mountains. So here are some of the examples, the creative examples. We ran 10 billion impressions throughout the summer. You can see the expanded markets that we were in. Typically, we are only in the drive market, but due to our increased air service that Scott mentioned, we were able to deploy media into those markets to support the new air service. Here are some examples of the creative that we ran. We also had a campaign specifically to support the Southwest Airlines flights, which we now have 8 total flights with Southwest Airlines, which we're very excited about. So we ran a very specific targeted media campaign alongside with their intel and the markets that they selected as most important to them. And we did that in the form of TV, native advertising, audio, digital, social media, and outdoor billboards. As a result, we booked 1,200 room nights and about over $600,000 in revenue that was tracked from this specific campaign. We also ran a social media campaign to promote Southwest Airlines. This was a very fun campaign. We had 800,000 impressions, and we gained over 6,000 new followers to our social media channels. So this is very exciting for us as well. And I think I have a short video to share with you. So the winner won 4 nights and 5 days in Greater Palm Springs and 2 flights on Southwest Airlines. The winner was from Las Vegas, and she's already come into the destination for her trip. I also wanted to show an example of one of our brand spots. With our brand spots, we have tagged some of those specifically with the airline tags in those target markets that we're in. So this is an example of a Southwest Airlines tagged.
Create opens inspiration, paint sky and earth, everything collides, it's a new sensation. You'll find me there. Give me those open spaces. Go find your own oasis. Palm Springs.
So that specific spot ran in Oakland to support the Southwest flight, direct flight into Oakland. So what happened as a result of our campaign? I have some occupancy numbers to share with you. So you can see here, I have 2019, 2020, and 2021 comparisons. You can see in June, July, and August, 2021 ran very similar to 2019 for Greater Palm Springs this summer, which is very exciting. Even more exciting, look at that room rate. The ADR was significantly above 2019 and 2020. So great news for our destination. And then we also ran the comparison specifically to Palm Desert. So here you can see again, June, July, and August, 2019 through 2021. 2021 ran just shy of the 2019 numbers, but again, you can see the ADR well exceeded 2019 or 2020, actually record-breaking ADRs for the summer of 2021. So big success for all and for the destination.
And I know when working with Tom at the JW, their strategy over the summertime was really going after rate versus occupancy for lots of different reasons, but very successful summer campaign.
Now moving on to our fall and winter campaign, which is currently running. I just wanted to share, it is What Will You Find? So as you all know, our tagline is Find Your Oasis. And so this was really a fun way to play off of our brand and really allowing people to explore what they enjoy doing in our destination. So what will you find can mean different things to different people. And that allowed us to create a lot of different content surrounding the campaign, which is currently running. So here you see a couple of the digital examples. Obviously, the markets have been expanded due to the increase in flights during this time frame. The estimate for this campaign, 12 billion impression and over 800,000 television spots. We also ended our Southwest Airlines campaign, and we did begin a Flair Airlines campaign as well. So again, this was specifically dedicated to promote Flair Airlines and to show our support of the nonstop service. We did that via a custom landing page, TV, billboard, and digital advertising, as well as social media. I have an example of our fall campaign spot that I'm going to share with you as well.
I'm climbing up where skies are wide, wide. Give me those open spaces. Go find your own oasis.
Visit Greater Palm Springs. Find your oasis.
We also created some video vignettes for social media, again, to kind of play off the what will you find. And I have an example here to share.
What will you find? Visit Greater Palm Springs. Find your oasis.
So fall occupancy, what happened in the fall? So you can see here again, the 2019 comparison in terms of occupancy for 2019, 2020, and 2021. So in September, again, just shy of the 2019 levels. In October, we were flat to 2019. And in November, we were actually up to 2019. And then ADR, same story as the summertime, again, well exceeded our 2019 and 2020 ADR, which is, again, a great story for everyone. Palm Desert comparisons here, you can see September at 37%, so above 2020, but below 19. October at 55%, and again, November at 69%, which is at 2019 levels. But again, another great story on the ADR front here, which, as Scott mentioned, was a strategy that a lot of the hotels did have in Palm Desert. Digital results, our Expedia campaign was very successful. We booked $5.2 million as a result of our campaign in 2021, not quite to the level of 2019, which is to be expected. The budget was a little bit lower, and also we had a few start-stop timeframes when the media was not running. Again, the estimated TOT on that number is over 570,000. So this represents just the bookings that booked at Palm Desert hotels specifically. And then Adara is a way that we track our media effectiveness and bookings. So we put a pixel on all of the advertisements, the digital advertisements that we're running, the examples I showed earlier, and we're able to track them through their booking journey for 60 days. And as a result, you can see here, we've tracked over $11 million in hotel bookings in Greater Palm Springs. You can see we also track flights as well. Sorry, this is actually combined flights and hotels, 11.3 million. And then this is the ranking. We also can see the ranking by city. So Palm Desert did rank #1 in hotel bookings at 39.2% of the media that we were able to track with our Adara platform. Social media. So we do a lot of fun things on social media. Here are a few examples. The way we measure this is through impressions, also engagement, and also followers. So we are on multi-platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, and we just started our TikTok channel recently. So that's a lot of fun. I don't know if you've all experimented with TikTok, but I'm addicted. And I think I may have an example to share here. And I think I have one more. Maybe. Oh, maybe not. Okay, that one doesn't want to play. So we do have a fun TikTok. If you have an opportunity to go look at our channel at Visit Greater PS, we did a fun TikTok video on the Black Rhino exhibit. So it's a lot of fun if you have a chance to take a look at it. I don't know why the video is not playing. We also have a variety of other campaigns that we've been running, including our Love Local campaign. That became very important during COVID, how we can support all of our local businesses. And here is an example of the Body Deli in Palm Desert.
And we use a lot of their product for gifts for clients as well. A lot of the small sample sizes or medium sizes as well from Body Deli.
Mm-hmm. And we also promote other things on our Pinterest channel and all of our social channels, blogs with content, again, curated for different experiences, as well as we have a campaign for remote working. So we're trying to attract people now that people are able to work remotely. We would love them to come in our destination for an extended period and work remotely. So we're pushing that campaign out as well.
Colleen, where are you pushing that campaign out to, the remote work offhand?
It's mostly, we're in San Francisco, California, Arizona, like kind of regionally.
Okay.
We also hosted recently an influencer Dine giveaway. So this was something we partnered with Dawn McCoy on, who I know works on the Palm Desert social media channels, I believe, and the JW Marriott with a giveaway. We wanted to increase the visibility and awareness for our Dine GPS channel and our culinary scene for Greater Palm Springs by giving a 2-night stay for people who engaged in this campaign. So we ran that through November. We had 9 influencers who we posted to our channels as well as all of their individual channels. We had over 1.8 million impressions. They did experience restaurants, Mikado, Eddie V's, Kitchen 86, Daily Grill while they were here, and they posted on all of those locations. So as you can see, we had over 1,000 comments, 29,000 likes, and 350 new followers as a result of this campaign. And then local campaigns, this is just a quick overview. We spoke about a lot of these, but we have our Dine GPS campaign where we're supporting local restaurants. Love Local, as we were speaking about before, really supporting our local businesses. We also work with a partner, Bandwango, doing our mobile passports. Again, it's a way for our partners to participate and push out special offers or even just check-in locations. So it's an engagement activity for a consumer or visitor to use, and they qualify to win certain prizes. And we did a Trailicious campaign right during COVID, which was really focused on the outdoor experience of hiking and also takeout food. Then we did our Summer Eats campaign throughout the summer to help support local restaurants. And then our Love Local shopping pass, which was during the holiday season, again, to promote shopping in our destination. Our next evolution of the Love Local campaign is our Art and Soul program. It's going to be a video series supported by media. We are going to highlight with 60 to 90 second with 7 local artists, all that have something unique to our destination that a visitor can experience. So whether it be art or fashion, this is going to be a really unique video series that we can share to support our arts and culture pillar for the destination. And here are some examples of some of the media ads that we've done for the Love Local campaign. We have a landing page that supports the whole local community as well, with a lot of resources for visitors to use.
And this campaign was a result of us getting a grant from Riverside County from some of the Recovery Act money, and we're going to go back to them this month for another ask for another grant for additional funds to help make sure we keep these types of programs moving forward for the next few years.
And an overview of the Bandwango Mobile Pass programs that we've worked on. So the Trailicious, Summer Eats, and Love Local. We're getting ready to launch a health and wellness pass for the beginning of the year. We feel like that aligns really well with what people are thinking about this time of year. And we support this with all of the marketing listed there in terms of getting people to sign up and really engage with these programs. We also have a new arts app that we're producing. We had an arts app in the past, but it was not good for both Android and iPhone. So we wanted to make it more readily available to everyone. And so we are building this out right now. It actually is scheduled to be done in the next couple of weeks, but there are 100 outdoor arts locations for the city of Palm Desert that will be included in this arts app, which is really exciting.
The original arts app was created by the young kid from Cathedral City High School, and it was a little bit, clunky and a little bit rough, and we wanted to make sure, so we turned it over to the firm that we work with, and they're going to make it much more robust and kind of work all the bugs out. So we're excited to have this relaunch.
On the public relations front, we had a really exciting opportunity to work with the United Plates of America, season 4, episode 3, and we had a really fun Palm Desert segment. It is about 5 minutes long, so I did cut this down a little bit, but it is 2 minutes, what I'm going to share with you. But we worked with, again, Don McCoy. This aired at the end of November, on November 22nd, was seen in 40 million homes. It's still available on DirecTV and on demand. And this focuses on the Hotel Paseo Larkspur Grill. So I'm going to share this with you.
Now it's my turn to impress Jason and Troy. And what better way to do that with some comfort food in a restaurant that's totally brand new.
We're right off of El Paseo, and that's what they call the Rodeo Drive. There's no comfort at all on the strip, and everybody likes comfort food. Everybody likes mac and cheese. Everybody likes braised short rib. Everybody likes fried chicken, right? So we decided, let's do something comfort. The restaurant's plenty big and seasoned, great patio, just a really great space. So we feel we should be able to get those locals. And one of the ways to do that is our happy hour. Things are priced as low as $3. And probably only 10 is the max. So all of our appetizers are discounted, as well as our alcohol.
Alrighty, so this is Larkspur Grill.
Nice.
Brand new, 4 days old.
That's gorgeous.
So, I mean, you guys take me to this old thing.
Well, thank you for bringing us to a beautiful new space.
I hope you like it.
Yeah, the art's amazing, the decor's amazing. I love the wallpaper with the Joshua trees on it. It's really a beautiful space.
Right now we're in Palm Desert, which is still part of this whole Coachella Valley. Just explain how that works.
In Palm Springs is a small town, it's about 50,000, but each of these cities have their own identity. They're all unique into themselves, and they feel like small towns, which is great, especially for tourists, because you can usually walk to a restaurant or a bar or something wherever you stay. And it's lots of country clubs, lots of golf. It's a high-end area.
People from Palm Springs come over here, and Palm Desert people come to Palm Springs too. So it's all one valley. It's not that far.
Well, it's 30 minutes though.
Yeah.
And traffic is not like Los Angeles traffic, so it's easier to get around.
Yeah.
And there's a few more minutes when they enjoy the food together. So if you have an opportunity to check out the entire video, I'd be happy to also share that with you. All right, air service. I'm going to turn it back over to Scott to talk about air service.
We'll give Colleen a little break there. She's the heavy lifter on this one. But if you go to the next slide, Colleen, we've had some nice success. I mean, one thing I have to say is that we have benefited from the pandemic by getting a lot of the rerouting of flights to the destination. I think it has benefited that have established some nice relationships with the airlines over the years. We work with a company called Avion Pacific, and they are all ex-airline network planners and so forth that are now on the corporate consulting side. So they do a great job of representing our destination. So you can see the airlines there that we've added. We're up to now 30 cities nonstop, which is fabulous. Some of those are seasonal. Alaska Airlines, who now flies to Austin and to San Jose, is a result of us doing a minimum revenue guarantee. So basically, we entered into an agreement with Alaska that says if the flight does not perform sufficiently, we will bridge the gap on the revenue up to a set amount. So we're capped on what our exposure would be, but it gives them some confidence to take the risk to go into those 2 new markets. So we're excited. Both of those markets are doing very well. So hopefully we won't have to pay out a lot on the minimum revenue guarantees, and maybe actually it'll be a positive in the end. Southwest continues to tell us that service is doing really well. We're excited there. They did add Dallas and Chicago over the holidays. Hopefully they'll continue to add those in the future as well. But their main flights of Oakland, Vegas, Phoenix, and Denver are doing very, very well. And the next slide just shows kind of how we're comparing on the national level. The teal line is the national level in terms of passenger traffic, and you can see how Palm Springs has really been outperforming both in California and nationally, so doing very, very well. And then the next one shows load factors by month. So this is comparing 2019, 20 to 21. 21 is in the teal numbers. It's still down a little bit from 2019, but what's not really reflected here is the greater number of seats that we have. So actually, we have more passengers. We've been setting records every month through the airport. So those load factors are actually very, very good, especially as it compares to the rest of California and other parts of the country. And then the next slide will show that we've had a record year overall with the number of passengers coming into the destination. So a lot of growth on the airline side. We're hopeful that we can continue to sustain it. The goal is that Colleen and the team works with the airlines, work with those particular markets. We're in conversation with them on a regular basis, what flights, and they can tell us looking out. And that's what we're doing now, looking into February, March, and April. How are the flights doing? Where do we need to give a little extra marketing push or social media push in those markets to promote those flights or those routes coming back into the destination? And then, of course, our bread and butter for the destination is convention sales. And Colleen will give you a little update on what we're doing there.
Thanks, Scott. So here is an overview. I know there's a lot of numbers on this slide, but I'll kind of walk you through it. So the room nights, we use a program called Future Pace, and it allows us to compare how many rooms we have on the books compared to previous years. And so if you look at the top left, room nights it shows our goal, which is 160,742, and what we currently have on the books, which this was as of December 15th of 2021. So as you can see here, we're 31,000 plus room nights ahead of pace for 2022. So this is 20% over what our target goal would be. Below that, we have a tourism economics model. We've been working with tourism economics on a national level. They've been tracking how they see the recovery curve happening as it relates to meetings and conventions. And their prediction, as it relates to a national predictor, is that we should be at 124,627. So if you compare that to where we're at and use that model, we are actually 67,000 plus ahead of pace, which is 54% ahead of target. So both looking at either model, we do think that obviously we're recovering at a greater pace than the national recovery model, but it's just good to see those indicators here and compare them together. On the right side, you see the leads that this is again as of December 15th, open leads, 335 leads worth 226 plus thousand room nights. Of those 335 leads, 290 of those were sourced to Palm Desert properties. So 83% of the leads that we've received have been sourced to Palm Desert hotels. I know that's a lot of information, so I'm happy to take questions on that if anyone has any
questions at all.
This is another lots of numbers here. So this is basically our bookings, the generated rooms that we had by year. We did it by fiscal year for this current slide, and then what the economic impact is. So again, we use a tourism economic calculator to calculate what the economic impact is to the destination, as well as the taxes and bed taxes and jobs supported. So you can see here each year and the comparison So again, not to the 2018-19 level, obviously because we weren't able to host groups for quite a long period in 2021, but pretty solid number as it compares to the 2020-2021 fiscal year. And then we're constantly working on engagement with our meeting planners. We started traveling over the summer. We went back to IMAX this year. That was very exciting to attend that in Las Vegas for the first time in a couple of years. We've been attending client events, trade shows, sales calls, and we use our newsletter to communicate with our meeting planners as well. It goes to 8,000 meeting planners monthly. We provide them with all sorts of updates. One of the updates that we've been sharing is our vaccination rates, because our vaccination rate for the destination has been higher than the national average, and that's something that our meeting planner community has been very interested in hearing about. And then this is the rebate outline of rebates that we have specifically for Palm Desert. So as an example, a group might come to us and say, you know, we need a $5 per room night rebate in order to book in your destination. And this represents the amount of funding that we've allocated to those programs that are contracted indefinite by year. So you can see that indicated here to the right.
For Palm Desert only. This is
For
just
Palm Desert specifically, yes. And I'm going to turn it back over to Scott to talk about education.
Yeah, so the next slide talks about the Tourism Foundation. We formed the Tourism Foundation about 3 years ago, really an opportunity for us to raise funds. At our annual summit and awards gala that we do with the industry, we always give away scholarships, and a lot of our partners wanted to donate to that, but we're looking for a kind of a 501c3 type scenario, a charitable donation deduction. So we created the foundation for that, but now that's continuing to grow, and we're advancing that on a regular basis. Davis Meyer is now overseeing the foundation for us and a small board of directors. But we really want to use that not only for scholarships, but to develop the workforce. We're working on the tourism grant. I think we almost got that finalized. There is a little bit of a pause on that, and I'll tell you why in a minute, but $80,000 is also being dedicated for Team GPS. Team GPS is our ambassador program, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes as well. So let's go to the next slide, Colleen. So the tourism grant is a result of GPS Next. We had Paul Ouimet from Destination Next who talked about the visitor experiences and how important it is for a destination to continue to create and cultivate new experiences for visitors to come back and return in the future. So the goal was to provide up to $100,000 for each city. So Palm Desert would be eligible for that $100,000 grant. The board of directors said, hey, let's just hold off for 1 second. We need to figure out the workforce development piece because they're really struggling with that. We had a call this morning with Sheila from One Future Coachella Valley to talk about a contract program with them to help us access and target high school kids and individuals in the community colleges and so forth in the community about tourism as a career, as an opportunity. So we want to get that kind of resolved, but I have no qualms. I think we'll be able to get this grant released by the end of the month. And the goal obviously is to drive visitation into the destination, certainly throughout the entire year, but more specifically in our need periods like the shoulders and summer months. And then the next slide talks a little bit about our Team GPS program, which we're doing with College of the Desert. It's ambassador training for the frontline workers, for anybody really in the industry. It's a half-day session. We're going to turn that virtually with the help of College of the Desert so we can do it in person or online so they can get certified for that. And when they do that, that'll open them up for foundation funding to get certified for culinary arts, for restaurant training, whatever it may be. We've also asked COD to put together a leadership program. So we want to make sure that we have an opportunity to work with the hotels that maybe don't have access like Marriott and Hilton and Hyatt have, to help that individual that maybe is at a management level and wants to succeed in the industry to go through this leadership training program. And the goal is that the foundation would fund that for them. So we're kind of going through that program right now. Erica in our office and Davis are going through that with COD. Hope to have that wrapped up here in the near future and kind of get that launched. So we're excited about this opportunity. We've also been talking to Desert Sands Unified School District to get on there. There's a program called NEPRIS where you can load videos up about the industry to highlight individuals that maybe grew up in the destination and made hospitality a career and talk about how they did it and who they are and try to inspire the kids to take a look at our industry and not necessarily look at it, through the lens of the last 2 years, which has been a very difficult time period for them. But a lot of them come out of high school thinking, why would I want to do that? That industry's been hit so hard. So we want to reintroduce them to our industry and do that with the help of COD and One Future Coachella Valley and our Team GPS program. So we're excited about that. And I talked about this already. So we can go to the next slide, which is tourism development. And our travel trade, which has really been on hold from an international standpoint, but our goal this year is to continue to strengthen our relationships with tour operators in Canada and Mexico. We see those as an opportunity going into 2022. Certainly, we want to grow our visitations from Australia, France, UK, Germany, and China. We've re-engaged some of those offices to do some communication messaging, certainly into the UK and Germany. China will be on hold for quite a bit longer, as you can imagine. And the same thing with India, South Korea, Japan, Italy, and Scandinavia. We'll re-engage them probably towards the end of 22 unless something really changes over the course of the next 6 months or so. And then the next slide is regional collaboration. These are things that Gary and his team are working on from an international standpoint with other destinations around California. So Santa Barbara, Santa Monica, San Diego, West Hollywood, LA. Certainly we know international visitors are not coming for one destination. They're coming for multiple destinations. So we're trying to keep them in that triangle and trying to keep them out of Arizona and out of Nevada if we can, and give them enough kind of motivation and incentive to not only come into Southern California, but if they're going to go into LA or San Diego, whatever, Palm Springs, the greater Palm Springs area is certainly on their radar, and so they can learn more about it. So we want to leverage that relationship with some of those bigger marketing opportunities with those cities. And then the last but not least is certainly golf is still one of our top assets for the destination. We work with the golf tour operators. This was a campaign that Gary did, a business-to-business marketing golf tour operator campaign, highlighting the fact that we have such a great asset in the destination through GolfPack, getting all that information out through emails, web banners, really being a preferred destination on their website. So a really good opportunity to partner with them on that. And that is it.
Thank you so much. Okay, Ed, I did want to say that the other day we had our meeting was a work session. Our last visit GPS was a work session, and it was really facilitated well. I hope you got a lot out of it. I know it was a good exercise for us. Okay, are there any questions or comments?
I don't have a question, but I did watch the rhino video, and it does evoke a lot of joy. It was a great little snippet.
Great. Thank you for watching that.
Okay, Councilmember Kelly.
Wow. I knew you would break your record for words spoken in a study session, and sure enough, you did. This is just a small, discrete question, but on the art and soul, are you all on top of the fact the Artists Council is now the occupant of the Galen Museum, and their mission is to feature local artists? It's really quite exciting because it enhances the unique art experience for visitors. And they've got a host of events where previously unexperienced artists can be viewed.
Thank you for that. I kind of saw the transition, but I didn't fully understand what that represented. So we will reach out to them. Jeff in our office is leading that art and soul kind of effort with a third party. So we will connect Colleen, myself, Jeff, and the team with the Artists Council and get more information. So great to know.
They are now independent of the museum.
Okay.
So they're with us now.
Okay.
We're happy that they have chosen Palm Desert. Mayor Pro Tem Jonathan.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to quickly thank you, Scott, and Colleen, and the rest of your team. I know that you work hard behind the scenes, and it's so difficult to quantify the return on our investment. But you did a good job today, and that's appreciated as well as all your hard work behind the scenes. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We appreciate your support as well.
And Councilmember Quintanilla.
Okay, I just wanted to add that I loved all of the visuals. I'm very data centered, and I appreciated that it was synthesized in a way that made it easy to digest. I love that it was the year over year to let us know, as tough as 2021 felt economically, it was bearable. And that was very good to hear. So I appreciate the way that it was done in a very concise format. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Well, I'll say this, I really appreciate all your time, and what is interesting and on Mayor Pro Tem's comments, you know, years ago, all this marketing was done and there was no way to quantify it. There was no geofencing. There was none of the technology that we have now that we really can tell the story well and talk about the ROI on this. So I really appreciate you taking the time to share that with us today.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. It's very important for us to quantify it and be transparent and share the information. I think this new kind of beta dashboard that we showed you a little glimpse of is going to be really helpful, not only for us, but for, you know, someone like yourself or Thomas or the City of Palm Desert staff, if they want to look through that lens of what people are doing, where they're going, what age groups, what time of day. Does it create some opportunities there? And we can, like I said, we can break it down. We have over 200 points of interest that we've kind of geo-fenced around the valley. So we can certainly, when we get through the beta segment of it, we'll sit down with Thomas and the team and go through how we can slice and dice all the data and try to help everybody be more successful.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Quintanilla.
In all of the very data intensive points that are collected from the smartphones, is there a way to look at perhaps those that had considered Palm Desert and then decided on going elsewhere in the shopping cart kind of phase? I know that there is ways to track in terms of who is our greatest competition of folks that had considered it. Were they flagged for one idea and then decided on Palm Desert? So again, is your metrics in any way able to get to that fine level of detail?
That's a good question. I don't think so.
I don't think so, but we can certainly ask the question. But it really tracks it more when they're in market. So when they arrive here, that's when that tracking mechanism happens. So it doesn't necessarily take us through their buying decision process, but maybe there is a technology for that that we could look into potentially.
We are geofencing some of the airports in Southern California. So we want to see who's flying into LAX or San Diego and so forth, and then coming out to the destination. So we are going to track that data as well. I don't think the phone data can do what you're saying. That would be phenomenal. But I tell you who might be able to give us something that might be Expedia. Right? I don't know if they would share that with us or not, but we'll ask them.
Yeah.
Expedia might be one, yeah.
I'm sure the data is somewhere. It's just a matter of finding the right app and partner for it. But thank you so much. I appreciate it.
The sooner we can ship our visitors, the better off we are, I guess. I have a question. You talked about you were doing a cannabis economics study, and what is it that you're looking for in that?
We want to know who's coming to the destination and using or going to the lounges or going to the dispensaries. Where are they staying? What are they doing? So we're trying to get a handle on what is our role in cannabis tourism? What message do we communicate to? Who do we communicate it to? How does that impact the brand? So it's not going to be easy because a lot of the data is not sanctioned by the federal government, where a lot of that data can kind of resides. So this is not going to be an easy study, but we're doing it. We've also hired a company called Cultivar Strategies, where we've done some work with them. We're looking at hiring them again to do some more work as well. And when I say the cannabis industry, it also means CBD, right? So part of what we're looking at is maybe educating our hotels about how to make referrals, who they make referrals to. So there's some dispensaries that maybe would not be appropriate to refer them to if a visitor's coming in. I mean, certainly the Leaf on El Paseo is one of those that they've spoken to, would be an automatic referral. So we're trying to figure out, get our hands around it, but also we want to quantify it with some data. So be able to go back to the board and say, of the visitors coming into the destination, and they're part of our phone cell data that we're tracking, how many of those are coming in from New York or wherever, and then stopping by a dispensary or a lounge while they're here, and what is that worth? So we're trying to figure out what that represents. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. No, it did. It's very interesting. I'm sure they bring value to our destination. Okay, are there any other questions, thoughts? All right. Well, thank you so much for all the information. And we all need to be back here in just a few minutes, so take your moments, and I'll see you at the next meeting.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Healthy New Year.
Bye-bye.